Most people have this verse tattooed on their gym bags. They see it as a motivational quote, something to push through one more rep, to get through a hard day at work. But what if I told you that Philippians 4:13 is actually describing a state of quantum superposition, where multiple financial realities exist simultaneously until you collapse them into your bank account through the power of Christ consciousness? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will completely rewire how you read Scripture and how money flows into your life. Let me read you the verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, most translations water this down to make it sound like divine encouragement. But the Greek word for strengthen is endunamo, which means to be made dynamically powerful, to be infused with explosive capability. This isn't about trying harder. This is about accessing a supernatural frequency that multiplies your earning capacity beyond what your natural skills could ever produce. Catherine Ponder, one of the most influential prosperity teachers of the 20th century, wrote something that shook the religious establishment. She said that the word Christ doesn't just refer to the historical Jesus. It refers to the divine abundance principle embedded in universal consciousness. The Christ within you is your prosperity consciousness, your ability to tap into infinite supply. When Paul says through Christ who strengthens me, he's not talking about religious willpower. He's describing a quantum entanglement with the source code of abundance itself. Think about it this way. In quantum physics, particles exist in superposition, meaning they hold multiple states at once until observed. Your financial reality right now exists in superposition. There's a version of you earning exactly what you earn now. There's another version earning 10 times that. Another version living debt-free. Another version building generational wealth. All of these realities exist simultaneously in the quantum field. But here's the key. You collapse one of those realities into your physical experience based on the frequency you're vibrating at. And this is where Philippians 4:13 becomes the cheat code. Paul wasn't speaking hypothetically. He had experienced both poverty and abundance. Earlier in that same chapter, he says, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. Notice he calls it a secret, not a suggestion, not a hope, a secret. And that secret is Christ consciousness, the ability to access supernatural strength that operates outside the limits of your current circumstances. Before we go deeper, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel exists to decode the quantum wealth secrets hidden in Scripture that religious tradition has kept locked away. And drop a comment below. Tell me, what's one financial reality you're ready to collapse into your life? I read every single comment, and your words actually shift the algorithm to help more people find this message. So go ahead, comment now. Let's break down what Paul is really saying. I can do all things. Not I can try really hard at all things. Not I hope to do all things if God feels like blessing me. I can do all things. That's a present tense declaration of unlimited capability. But notice, it's not through my own power. It's through Christ who strengthens me. This is the quantum entanglement. You are not the source. You are the receiver. Christ, the universal abundance principle, is the broadcaster. When you tune your frequency to that broadcast, you gain access to wealth strategies, business ideas, and financial opportunities that were invisible to you before. Catherine Ponder taught that prosperity is your divine right, not because you're special, but because you're made in the image of infinite abundance. The problem is, most people pray for money while vibrating at the frequency of lack. They say, God, please help me pay my bills, while mentally rehearsing all the reasons they can't afford things. That's like tuning your radio to 95 FM and getting mad that you're not hearing the station broadcasting on 103. You're on the wrong frequency. Philippians 4:13 is the frequency adjuster. When you declare this verse, you're not begging. You're aligning. You're not hoping. You're activating. You're shifting from the "I can't afford it" frequency to the "I can do all things" frequency. And here's what's wild. The universe doesn't care about your current bank balance. It only responds to the signal you're broadcasting. Let me give you a real-world example. There was a woman who heard this teaching and started declaring Philippians 4:13 every morning before work. She wasn't trying to manifest a lottery win. She was simply aligning her consciousness with supernatural strength. Within 2 weeks, her boss offered her a project she'd never been considered for before. It paid triple her usual rate. A month later, she had an idea for a side business that seemed to download into her mind fully formed. 6 months after that, she had quit her job and was earning more in a month than she used to make in 6. She didn't work harder. She worked from a different frequency. Now, if you're serious about activating this in your own life, I've created something that will accelerate your results. It's called the Quantum Wealth Scripture Journal. 30 days of Bible verses paired with quantum wealth activations. Each day gives you scripture, reflection prompts, and a practical money move to collapse abundance into your reality. It's not just theory. It's a daily activation system. The link is in the description and pinned in the first comment. Grab it if you're ready to stop reading scripture like a history book and start using it like the quantum manual it was always meant to be. Here's what most people miss. Paul wrote Philippians from prison. He wasn't sitting in a prosperity seminar. He wasn't living in a mansion. He was chained to a Roman guard, facing possible execution. And yet, he had the audacity to write, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." How? Because his wealth wasn't tied to his circumstances. His frequency wasn't dependent on his environment. He had tapped into a supply that existed beyond the physical realm. Catherine Ponder would call this the law of spiritual supply. She taught that there's a universal bank account of infinite abundance, and every single person has access to it. But most people never make a withdrawal because they don't believe the account exists. They look at their physical bank statement and think that's the totality of their wealth. But your physical money is just the collapsed wave function of your prosperity consciousness. Change the consciousness, and the money changes automatically. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can say "I am rich" 1,000 times, but if your subconscious is still running the program "I'm barely getting by," you're broadcasting a mixed signal. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. And your frequency is determined by what you truly believe at the deepest level. So how do you actually activate Philippians 4:13 as a money multiplier? First, stop seeing it as a motivational quote. Start seeing it as an activation code. When you speak this verse, you're not trying to convince yourself of something. You're tuning into a frequency that already exists. Say it out loud right now. "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Feel the shift. That's not just words. That's a vibrational recalibration. Second, identify the financial reality you want to collapse. Be specific. Not "I want more money." That's too vague. The quantum field needs a clear target. "I am earning $10,000 a month. I am debt-free. I am building a business that generates passive income." Write it down. Speak it daily. Let it become the dominant frequency you're broadcasting. Third, take inspired action. This is where people get tripped up. They think quantum manifestation means sitting around visualizing while doing nothing. No, the quantum field responds to aligned action. When you're vibrating at the "I can do all things" frequency, opportunities will present themselves. Ideas will download. People will reach out. Your job is to act on those nudges without overthinking them. And here's the part that will blow your mind. The strengthening that Christ provides isn't just mental or emotional. It's financial. When you operate from Christ consciousness, you gain access to supernatural favor. Deals close faster. Clients say yes without hesitation. Money shows up from unexpected sources. This isn't luck. This is quantum entanglement with the source of all wealth. If this message is shifting something inside you, if you feel called to support the continuation of this work, we have a membership option where you also get early access to videos before anyone else. It's a small way to keep this channel alive and growing so we can keep decoding these biblical wealth secrets together. The link is in the description if that resonates with you. No pressure, just an invitation for those who feel led. Let me tell you something Catherine Ponder discovered in her decades of teaching prosperity principles. She noticed that the people who experienced the fastest financial breakthroughs weren't the ones with the best business plans. They were the ones who had an unshakable inner knowing that they were already wealthy. Not that they would become wealthy someday, that they were wealthy now, even if their bank account didn't reflect it yet. That's the superposition strength Paul is talking about. The ability to stand in the collapsed reality before it shows up in the physical. Think about Jesus feeding the 5,000. He didn't look at 5 loaves and 2 fish and panic about the lack. He gave thanks as if the abundance was already present. Then he broke the bread, and it multiplied. That's not a cute Sunday school story. That's a quantum demonstration. Gratitude is the frequency that collapses abundance. When you thank God for the money before it arrives, you're signaling to the quantum field that it's already done. So here's your action step. Tonight, before you go to bed, declare Philippians 4:13 out loud 10 times. Not as a wish, as a fact. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Feel it in your bones. Let it reprogram your subconscious. Then, write down one financial goal you're collapsing into reality. Be specific. Be bold. Then, take one action tomorrow, no matter how small, that aligns with that goal. Here's the truth most preachers won't tell you. The Bible isn't just a religious text. It's a quantum manual for reality creation. And Philippians 4:13 isn't gym wall art. It's the activation code that expands your earning capacity beyond what your resume, your background, or your current situation says is possible. You are not limited by your circumstances. You are only limited by the frequency you're operating from. If you found value in this, smash that like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And drop a comment. What's the one money block you're ready to dissolve? Let's create a field of abundance in the comments where everyone's breakthrough feeds everyone else's. Remember, you're not here by accident. You're here because it's time for your wealth to expand. Now go collapse that reality.